Hello friends, welcome to SaltySmiles. My name is Alan, this is Salty, and today we are celebrating the Lunar New Year. Woo! Chúc mừng năm mới. Today I'm making a dish for Vietnamese Lunar New Year. It's called Thit Kho. We also eat this dish in Laotian culture, and in Laos we call it Moo Khem or Moo Khem, which I think means salty pork, which is a little weird. This is a fun dish to make because it is pork braised in a fish sauce caramel with eggs. It's homey, it's delicious. It sounds very daunting to make, but after you master the caramel, the braising part is not that difficult. So let's dive into this recipe and let's make a giant pot of Thit Kho. I'm gonna call it Moo Khem from now on because that's what I'm most familiar calling it, which is the Lao word. So to make Moo Khem, you're going to need only a few things. The only aromatics that we're going to use for the Moo Khem are shallots and garlic. So I have 3 cloves of garlic and I have 2 shallots here, and we're just going to mince them finely. I actually only ended up using 1 shallot, but you could use 2 shallots if you want more flavor. I also have a huge piece of pork belly here. This is 4 pounds of pork belly. I only ended up using 3 pounds of it, and we're going to slice them into nice pieces for braising. You want them to be like a 2-inch piece, thumb this big, just nice chunks. And then after you have your shallots and garlic prepped and your meat prepped, we can start cooking. So the first thing we're going to do is get a pot of water boiling. This is to boil our eggs. I boiled my eggs for 7 minutes, and then I took them out, shocked them in ice water, and I'm actually going to use this water to blanch my pork. So we're going to salt this boiling water, and we're going to blanch the pork until it comes up to a boil again, and you see all of this scum that's coming to the surface of the water. We want to remove that. A good Moo Khem has a very clear but distinctive golden broth. And the golden color comes from caramelizing sugar, but I also use one little cheat. So after you have your par blanched pork, you can pull that out, set it to the side. Look how dirty this water is. You can get rid of the water and come back with a clean pot. To this clean pot, we are going to add some oil, and I'm going to add a 1/4 cup of brown sugar. You could use white sugar here, but I find the brown sugar lends its brown color more nicely to this dish, which is supposed to be a golden brown. But you do you. So this is the tricky part. We're going to make a caramel in oil. I suggest cooking this over a medium-low flame. Don't be a hero here, just stir all the time until all the sugar melts, and once you've hit your desired color, that's when we're going to add the aromatics, which were the garlic and shallots that we have pre-chopped. I'm also adding 1 cinnamon stick. I'm going to fry these until they become super fragrant, about 4 or 5 minutes, and at that point we're going to add our pre-blanched pork. We're going to give this a good toss, and I'm going to season the pork with 1/4 cup of fish sauce, and I'm going to add some salt and some white pepper to taste. Now comes for the braising liquid. You have to use coconut water for this. Do not use stock. If you don't have coconut water or coconut juice, water would be a better substitute, but don't add stock. You need the subtle sweetness that comes from the coconut water. I'm using 3 cups of coconut water here. Bring this up to a boil, and here is my secret. I like to add about 1 tablespoon, 2 tablespoons of dark sweet soy sauce. It's also known as ketchup mayonnaise. This really lends a lovely golden color to the final broth, as well as adding a different dimension of sweetness. Once you have everything in the pot, we've got the pork, the fish sauce caramel, the coconut water, aromatics. We're going to bring it up to a boil, and then we're going to decrease it down to low, put the lid on just a tiny bit, and we're going to let this go for an hour. And that's it. It's a pretty hands-off recipe at that point. All of these flavors are huge, big flavors, and they all play well so nicely together. The fish sauce caramel is so distinct and it's very delicious. While the pork is braising, you have a lot of time to peel your hard-boiled eggs. At about the 50-minute mark, I'm going to add these eggs back into the pot. I don't like to add them anytime before that because I feel like the eggs get really overcooked. And then you can just continue to let this cook for the final 10 minutes with the eggs. After that, you can check it for seasoning. I actually did not re-season this at all. So if you follow these steps, you're gonna have like a perfect pot of Moo Khem, Thit Kho. Then serve it up. The best way to serve this is obviously with a bowl of plain white rice. And no Lunar New Year table would be complete without like a myriad of various dishes. But today I only have a few. I've got the Thit Kho, I made a bitter melon soup, and we've got the fruit. I'm not a miracle worker, I don't have all of it. But look how gorgeous this thing is. Like, the eggs have this lovely golden color that comes from the caramelized sugar. And now let's try our Moo Khem. My favorite things to do, and what I always did as a kid, is you always crack the egg open when you get your bowl, and then you pour more of that sauce straight onto the yolk of the egg, and it's so good. Let's try the pork. You know the pork is done when you can just put a chopstick straight through it without any resistance. This is going to be so good. It's going to be so tender. You can eat this dish year-round, by the way. It's not specifically a New Year's dish, but I know it is very commonly eaten on New Year's. But this is a very homey dish to me. The balance is insane. The sweetness comes through, but there's also just like this hint of fish sauce. The cinnamon is a nice background flavor. And the coconut water really helps carry this like subtle sweetness throughout the dish. It's so delicious. Okay, let's try the egg. The egg is always my favorite part of a Moo Khem, and lots of times you'll never have enough egg. No matter how many eggs you put in this, you'll always just eat all the eggs out. So good. And when the rice soaks up all that sauce, very delicious. Hank, you want to try it? Hank grabbed the entire bowl.
I did.
The entire serving bowl. What do you think, Hank?
I love this dish. It's so good.
Hank asks for this dish all the time. He says, can we make the sweet pork?
Sweet pork. Chilies are so nice with it.
Yeah, I do like putting the chilies on top. It's more than just a garnish, you know? It's like a little bit more flavor.
Mm-hmm.
How's the egg?
That's what we're about to do. Give me some rice.
You have a bowl there. You're eating.
Nope. Thank you.
The egg's the best part.
Mm-hmm. This is so some of the best Moo Khem you've ever made.
The best Moo Khem I've ever made.
It's just really balanced.
Well, I took the time to measure out the ingredients. Take the time to measure out the ingredients. Okay. Well, I hope all of you have a happy Lunar New Year, wherever you're celebrating it from. If you try out this dish, please let me know. It's so good, it's so easy to make. Remember, don't use stock. You've got to use coconut water or coconut juice, or just water. Go follow my Instagram, SaltySmiles YT. And until I see you guys next time, bye-bye. Happy New Year.
Keep smiling.
Keep smiling. Chak mừng năm mới.
Bye-bye.
Bye.